Chelsea v Manchester City best bets plus rest of the Premier League picks. The armchair fan is in for a treat on Saturday with 3 live games featuring the top 4 teams in the Premier League. Chelsea v Manchester City is the pick of the bunch and the timing couldn't be much worse for Blues boss Maurizio Sarri. More on that down the page plus our game-by-game guide to the rest of the English top flight and the best bets across the fixture program in England and Scotland as we get stuck into the busiest month of the season. All kickoffs 3 p.m. on Saturday unless stated. We're heading into a time for giving and sharing and all that, but, for a team hoping to mount a serious title challenge after Christmas, December is a time for knuckling down and digging in. Liverpool dug very deep against Everton before Burnley gave them a battle, one they won to sit on their highest points total after 15 games of a top-flight season. Bournemouth away should provide another stiff test but one they should pass, especially with Mohamed Salah and Roberto Firmino back in the 11 after starting on the bench at Turf Moor. The Cherries' recent results haven't been great. A narrow win over Huddersfield halted a run of 4 straight losses, but the most recent was against Manchester City where they gave the league leaders plenty to think about. Eddie Howe's side rarely get hammered. 4-0 against Burnley remains an oddity, so Liverpool to edge it is the shout. The visitors are a 13 with several bookies and 11/4 with a few to win by a 1-goal margin. This one won't be close. Huddersfield have lost 2 in a row by the odd goal, but a hiding could be on the cards at the Emirates Stadium, where they lost 5-0 last season when Arsenal weren't even that good. Now, the Gunners are on a 20-match unbeaten run, their longest since going 28 games in 2007. That hammering last term was one of 7 away games Huddersfield have played against the Big Six, and their return stands at 2 draws and 5 defeats, with just 2 goals scored. Arsenal are no better than 2-7, but you can get 15/8 for Alexander Lacazette and Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, whose partnership has ballooned into one of the most fearsome in the league, to both score. Arsenal still haven't been leading a match at halftime, and it's 7 halves they win this after being all square at the break. Betfair's 5-6 they're winning after 45 minutes and 90 holds more appeal. It's almost tempting to back Brighton to win away. Almost. They've got a striker in form in Glenn Murray. 2 of their subs scored in the midweek win over Crystal Palace, handy if Murray doesn't recover from his shoulder injury, and they're facing a Burnley team who let the Eagles have 29 shots last weekend and allowed Liverpool 18 attempts on Wednesday night. But, for large spells the Clarets did impress, for the first time in a while, against Liverpool and can avoid a 4th straight loss and 7th in 8 games. Last season these 2 dished up a pair of goalless draws, and that means their last 5 league meetings have ended all square. That looks the best bet again and is 11/5 with Bet365, while height FT draw is 7 halves with the same firm and 1-1 is 11 halves with several bookies. Another thing to take away from Burnley v Liverpool was Jurgen Klopp getting annoyed at the rather tasty tackling from the hosts. Add to that the fact there's been a red card in Brighton's last 4 games and a sending off in this one, at 9 halves with Bet365, is worth a look. New Southampton manager Ralph Hasenhüttl takes charge of his first game after watching his troops in action at Wembley against Tottenham in midweek. He can't have liked what he saw as they were sloppy in front of goal and even worse at the back. He has a big job on his hands. If Hasenhüttl is hoping for a new boss bounce, he's come to the wrong club. The last 7 permanent managers at St Mary's failed to get off to a winning start. Paul Sturrock way back in 2004 was the last to manage it, beating Liverpool. A Neo-Warnock welcome awaits the Austrian, and Cardiff's veteran boss, who turned 70 last week, has won his last 2 home games and 3 of his last 4. The 19/10 for a home win is the pick here, while a 1-0. 2-0 or 2-1 to the hosts can be backed at 5 halves with Sky Bet. Jose Mourinho has had a go at pretty much everyone who's come within a mile of Manchester, but it turns out he was nice to Claudio Ranieri, as the Fulham boss revealed this week that his opposite number at United was the first to welcome him back to the Premier League. Ranieri should be looking forward to taking on Mourinho's Manchester United. They've managed just 2 clean sheets in the league, and Fulham do have some stardust in their forward options. but they seem to sprinkle it more at home as they haven't managed a goal in their last 3 away games or in 4 of their last 5. Apart from Liverpool at Anfield next Sunday, the festive fixtures have been kindish to Mourinho, with the Cottagers, Huddersfield, Cardiff, Bournemouth and Newcastle all to come. So if he wants to get back within touching distance of the top 4, now is the time to start. The hosts are no better than 4-11 or 7-5, bet Victor, to win while shutting Fulham out. West Ham are full of surprises. We certainly didn't expect them to be one of only 2 teams outside the top 2 to kick off this busy month with 2 straight victories. Brighton also managed it. After beating Newcastle and Cardiff, the Hammers are very backable to make it 3 in a row, something they haven't done since 2016, even without the injured Marko Arnautovic. They're 13/10 to see off a Palace side who had the stuffing knocked out of them by their rivals Brighton on Tuesday as they fell to a 5th defeat in 6 away games in all competitions. Palace flyer Wilfried Zaha's run of games without a goal will hit double figures if he draws a blank in this one, but West Ham's Lucas Perez has no such problems. He has 4 goals in his last 5 outings and is 21/10 with Paddy Power to score at any time. If he's on the bench again, take a look at the 13 halves, Paddy Power, for him to score the last goal. The timing couldn't be better for Manchester City to head to Stamford Bridge with Chelsea, and during their toughest spell of the season in the league, with their only win in their last 4 coming against struggling Fulham. The Blues don't look like the team they were a few weeks ago, and the 3-1 available for them to win at home says much about how they've started to go in a different direction after just about keeping up with City for much of the season. City boss Pep Guardiola failed to win any of his first 7 matches against Chelsea, all competitions, but worked them out last season, beating them twice, before his side outclassed them in the Community Shield back in August. Both victories last term were 1-0, with Chelsea restricted to just 7 shots over 2 games. Bournemouth and Watford made City's last 2 games interesting, and this will almost certainly be harder, but they should take the points. They're 19-20 for the victory or 61-20, Marathon, to win by a 1-goal margin. It's bet builder time. Jamie Vardy has remembered how to score at home with 1 against Watford last weekend, and Harry Kane finds the net wherever he is, so get on both of them to be on the score sheet, so long as Vardy is fit after missing Wednesday's draw at Fulham. More than 3 total goals in the game. In the past 4 seasons we've had a 6-1, 5-4, 2-2 and a 4-3, is the pick for this primetime Saturday slot, plus more than 3 corners for Leicester and more than 4 for Spurs. That little lot returns 14-1 with Bet365. Newcastle don't make it easy for punters. You couldn't track them with a radar when they post 3 straight wins, then lose 3-0 at home to West Ham, and it could have been more, before holding an Everton side who took Liverpool all the way to the death. It's hard to back against Wolves after their midweek win over Chelsea, but they don't score many away from home, 5 goals in 7 games and never more than 1 in a match. They've lost 3, drawn 2 and won 2 on the road, and another draw looks the best bet here. A share of the points is 11.5. Bank your weekend winnings, but maybe keep a bit aside to pile on Everton. They look like a home banker against Watford, but you'll have to wait until Monday night. Homes: West Ham, Everton, Birmingham, Leeds, Portsmouth 24-1. Several firms aways: Liverpool, Sunderland, Doncaster, Arbroath 14-1. Marathon, Bet Victor draws: Blackpool v Charlton, Burton v Shrewsbury, Scunthorpe v Gillingham 36-1. Bet365. Anytime scorers: Lucas Perez, Jamie Vardy, Harry Kane, Leroy Sané 51. Several firms: both teams to score in first half: Leicester v Tottenham, Wigan v Derby 18-1. Coral/Ladbrokes/Sky Bet from oddseeker.com, correct at time of publication, subject to change.